Good afternoon. Welcome to a brand new day by Marcda. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the family. Thank you for being part of the family of a new day. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And I really love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for just sharing my videos to your friends. I truly appreciate it. So this afternoon I want to do a chat with you. I've already recorded this message almost twice and I realized that I didn't push the record button. So this might sound a little different because whatever I had prepared was very nice and I keep not recording it the right way. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to talk about something that is very important to me. It's about my upbringing. It's about my culture as a Haitian, the things that some of the parents refuse to talk about, some of the things that we do that is different from the ways that are from what's going on right now. So the way that children are being brought up, it's all good because we all, as a Christian person, as growing up in a Christian home, there's a lot of things that were good, and there's a lot of things that could have been a little different, but we went through them, and some of them made us who we are. Some of us made us a better person. Some of them also didn't do so well for us. So we would like to talk about it. So first thing I would like to talk about is, wanting to go on field trip as a Christian growing up in a home, or as a Haitian child and being raised, and your parents refuse to allow you to go to certain field trip. Let me put that out there. I lived in Florida for about 8 years. I never went to Disney World. It's not that they couldn't afford it, but it was just that every time I needed to go somewhere, I wanted to go to a trip, my mom always had a dream. She always stated that I had a bad dream last night. It wasn't really good. It wasn't a good dream. I think you should stay home. You shouldn't go. Even if it was a trip that was local. I remember once I actually signed my own field trip paper to go, which wasn't good, but I did it anyway because I wanted to go on this trip, and my parents, I know they would never allow me to go. So that was one thing I did, because when you say no to a child and you don't give like a concrete reason, or a fact reason why you're not allowing your child to go or to do something, sometimes the child wants to do it anyway. So that's one thing. So if you are a parent and you have teenagers, or you have young kids, school age kids, and they are coming home with field trips slips, they are asking you, can I go on this trip? And you're saying no. Know that you're not doing them a service by saying no, especially if you can afford it, but you're choosing not to go because you're afraid of what's going on, what you don't want your kids to see. But because if you don't open their horizon, or open and allow them to explore certain things, that has an effect on their upbringing. Okay, it will affect them. Sometimes it might not affect them in a positive way. So another thing is, we never ever spoke about sex in my household. My mom never. We never spoke about it. We never asked her what was sex, how it is, what it was about, because she did not want to talk about it. My father didn't want to talk about it. None of them wanted to talk about it. So let me tell you, if you do not allow your kids to, if you do not teach your kids, somebody will teach your kids for you. And if you do not teach them, the television will teach them, and they will explore it on their own. And when they explore these things, it may not be in the right way. It may not be the right way. For example, as a Christian, you are told, you know it's sex is not before marriage. You learn that. But your parents never took time to sit and and talk about it and pray with you and instill the fear of God, so that if you have that fear, you know not to go there. So by not talking about it, it's not keeping the kids away from it. By not talking about it, it's not making the situation any better. So I think that's one lesson we could learn. Now, for those of you who are modernized, maybe you do it with your kids, but in my time we were not allowed to talk about it. They did not talk about it. So don't say, oh, I'm a Haitian and I do it. Yes, you may do it now, but in my time, my mom did not do it. They were always afraid to let me go to places, even if it was, sometimes it was even with the church. The church was going on a trip. My mom would say she had a dream and she didn't want me to go. So that's one thing. And then, you know what, other things, we keep our kids away from, like, for example, I see kids nowadays, they are asking their parents, can I go to the movies? Can I go to the movies with my friend? And sometimes the parent will drive both children to the movies, and they will go back and pick up the kids. One way I look at that is that you are developing, or you are learning to trust your kid, because when you allow them to go to the movies and they come back fine and they did not do anything that they were not supposed to do, and they come back, to trust them, that the next time they ask you to go somewhere, you will trust your kid to go to that place or to go to a different place. That's one thing. I think what we need to do is to learn to trust them more, and trust is earned by our action, but by what we've done. And we learn to trust a person, because you cannot trust someone if you haven't seen, if they cannot be trusted, if they haven't proven to you that they could be trusted. So that's one thing. Another thing, you know what, I'm afraid of a lot of things. You know why? Because I was kept up in a house. I was never allowed to go outside. At some point, when someone came knocking on my door, if my parents were not home, if our parents weren't home, we have to say, nobody's home, do not come, come back another time because nobody is home. So, and the aspect of the field trip, you know what it did to me? When I wasn't allowed to go to these trips, it made me feel like I was inadequate. I was left out. I'm not part of the class. I am a different person. All those feelings. And another thing I want to talk about, this is big. You know what? I've been around a lot of children, and sometimes when they're very young, like around, let's say 4 or 5, you see the boys want to play with the girls and the girls want to play with the boys, but you may find that one child that says, I'm not playing with boys. I say, why can't you play with a boy? Well, because my mommy and my daddy say I cannot play with boys. Now you already put something in that child's head that playing with boys is wrong. Playing with boys is wrong. Now there's a Haitian saying. It says, it might go the other way. Girls are matches and boys are gasoline, and when they get together they might make a fire. You hear that? Boys are gasoline, girls are matches. Or it might be the other way. Boys are the matches and the girls are the gasoline. Can't remember it the right way, but that's the way they always taught us, that we stay away from boys. Boys are not, it's just like boys and girls don't go together. But you know what? You don't want them to play together, but you have daughters, you have sons. I had brothers, but I wasn't allowed to play with boys that were not my brother, that wasn't my cousins. And and that didn't tell me, parents usually don't give a reason to those young kids why they're not playing with boys and girls. Because these kids are innocent, they don't know. They don't know. They're playing with the boys. They might do something they're not supposed to, but then you reprimand them. But they don't truly know at that age that, they're gonna be doing something they're not supposed to do. But we already put that in them. We already start that in a very, very young age. We're telling them that boys do not play with girls. So this is a little chat. It's nothing major. It's not a big video that I'm so excited about. I hope that you enjoy this little thing. Maybe what happened to me happened to you too. Maybe you are in your 40s. Your mother did not talk to you about sex. Or maybe you are in your 40s and you were raised in America and you were not even allowed to go out with your friends. You were not even allowed to go to the malls with your girlfriends. You were not allowed to go to the movies with your friends. And that did something to you. That did something to you. You were not allowed to call your friends on the phone, and they were not allowed to come over because, once school is over, that's it. You don't have friends. You're done. Your friends are your sisters, your siblings, your parents. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. If it wasn't like this in your household, good for you. And if it was like that in my household, and if it wasn't like that in your household, maybe you had something else that somebody else didn't have. I'm not gonna go with the sleepover because that is something that can never ever happen in the old fashioned Haitian way. We do not allow our children to sleep over at somebody's house because it's not something that we go for. And I don't want to make the videos too long, but I just want to tell you, just be open-minded, because at an early age we are learning, we are exploring things, we are learning about life. And it's okay if your kid come home and tell you something very strange, something out of the ordinary, something that you didn't expect them to know, but they know about it. So sit down with them and open up and just, fix it, clarify it, because they need to know. They need to know a lot of things. Even as an adult, I'm learning a lot of new things. Be open-minded to new things. And thank you again for sitting down and watching the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and may God bless you. Thank you again. God bless you. Love you. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye bye.